Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're looking at a pretty fascinating breakdown of a 30-day experiment based on Blue Zone's principles. But hey, before we even get started, I just want you to take a deep breath. Seriously, if you are totally exhausted by hearing about these crazy morning routines that require waking up at like 4 a.m. and chugging expensive green powders, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, I'm going to be your empathetic coach. We're looking at a deeply realistic, delightfully imperfect approach to changing your daily habits. This isn't about completely reinventing who you are overnight. No way. Instead, we're going to explore how a 30-day baseline correction can fundamentally change the way you feel, with a really special focus on how we connect with the people who matter the most to us. Okay, let's dive into this, because it's a question that hits a little close to home for a lot of us. Is family time just parallel screen time? So the author of our source material took on this habit they called family first, basically keeping close relationships genuinely protected. But man, it immediately revealed a pretty uncomfortable reality about modern downtime. We often think we're spending time with our family just because, well, we're occupying the exact same living room. But if everyone is just staring at a different glowing rectangle, are we actually connecting? It's a tough question, for sure, but it is the exact starting line for real, meaningful change. It's just so incredibly easy for family time to quietly erode into parallel screen time. Just existing in the same physical space, maybe tossing out a comment here and there, but with our attention completely fractured. Contrast that with actual shared attention. This is exactly what the Blue Zone's research emphasizes: genuine connection that is fiercely protected from the distractions of a busy life. The author found they actually had to make a concerted, intentional effort to move from that fractured attention to shared presence. Because, let's face it, connection doesn't just happen by default anymore. We literally have to build a fence around it. Section 1. The Screen Time Trap and Shifting to Shared Attention. So this shift is where the rubber meets the road. It's super easy to say we value family, right? But our daily routines often tell a completely different story. Now, here's what making that shift actually looked like in practice for the author. It wasn't about booking some lavish, expensive family vacation. It was about shared meals with all phones completely put away. It was about having actual face-to-face conversations instead of just defaulting to having a show playing in the background. And the author noted that making this change required way more intention than expected for something that sounds, honestly, so incredibly simple. But here's the beautiful payoff. By the end of the month, these small, protected pockets of real, undivided attention became the moments the author looked forward to the absolute most out of the entire day. Section 2. A realistic baseline correction and debunking the miracle. As your coach, walking you through this, I really want to build some trust here. We are going to debunk the whole miracle cure myth right now. Now, what's really interesting about this quote is just the sheer honesty of it. The author writes that the 30 days were, and I quote, less a dramatic before and after, and more the slow correction of a baseline I hadn't realized had drifted somewhere uncomfortable. I mean, how validating is that? We're so used to seeing these fake, overnight transformations online, right? People claiming a new habit gave them literal superpowers in 3 days. But this is different. This is acknowledging that over time, through stress and busy schedules, our normal can quietly drift into a state of constant fatigue or disconnection. Fixing it isn't dramatic. It's just a slow, steady correction back to where we're actually supposed to be. Let's take a look at the actual physical shifts that occurred. Steadier daily energy, better digestion, noticeably improved sleep quality. Now, the author is quick to point out that none of these were miraculous or earth-shattering on their own, but together, they successfully quieted this normal background hum of low-grade sluggishness and tiredness. Think about that background hum in your own life for a second. We get so used to running at, say, 70% capacity that we just assume that's how life is supposed to feel. These physical shifts simply removed that low-grade exhaustion, which honestly is a massive victory in itself. Section 3. The habit ecosystem and how they reinforce each other. Notice how these habits lock together. The real magic wasn't found in any single, isolated habit. It was found in how they all interacted. Having a sense of purpose made the author's days feel directed. Focusing on connection and family time reduced a kind of low-grade loneliness they hadn't been fully recognized before. And habits like walking and stress reduction, well, they provided real daily resets instead of just running on empty until a complete crash. And this brilliantly illustrates the core of Blue Zone's research. It's not a list of isolated chores. It's a whole system reinforcing itself, where each habit makes the next one just slightly easier to sustain. Think about it. Your daily walk clears your head, which makes you more present for your screen-free family meal, which makes you sleep better, which then gives you the energy to focus on your purpose the very next morning. It's an ecosystem. Now, I want to take a quick moment to just validate the everyday struggles we all face, because the author included a very crucial, honest note here. Hard days still happened. Work stress didn't magically disappear. The challenge didn't magically fix every single problem in their life. There were actually several difficult days scattered across the full 30 days. Because look, the goal of building these habits isn't to create some frictionless, perfect life where absolutely nothing goes wrong. What actually changed wasn't the presence of hard days, but rather how equipped the author felt to actually move through them. I absolutely love this statistic, 1 for 8. The author confesses that there were at least 2 days during the month where they batted 1 for 8 on their habit list, meaning they only managed to hit a single habit out of the entire ecosystem. And as a coach, I am telling you, that is perfectly fine. It really is. Because what matters at the end of the month wasn't racking up these flawless, perfect days. It was the fact that the author kept returning to the habits day after day instead of just quietly abandoning the whole project because it felt a little inconvenient on a random Tuesday. Returning to the habit matters so much more than flawless perfection.
Section 4, your starting line and the coach's playbook.
Okay, let's apply this in a way that is actually actionable and entirely forgiving. So the crucial point is this highly realistic game plan. Please do not try to do all 8 Blue Zone habits flawlessly from day 1. That is just a recipe for instant overwhelm. Instead, follow these steps. Step 1, pick just 2 or 3 habits that really resonate with you right now. Step 2, build them for a couple of weeks until they feel, somewhat natural. And then step 3, layer in the rest over time. The author admits this slow progression is much closer to how these habits actually took hold, rather than pretending they just nailed all of them on the very first try. So, what were the habits that the author committed to keeping permanently? Well, a written purpose sentence taped up where they can see it every single morning, a daily walk that has basically become non-negotiable, and importantly, that screen-free family time we discussed earlier. They're keeping these not out of some sense of rigid obligation, but because they genuinely deeply felt the profound difference it made in their emotional baseline. I want to reassure you by highlighting this fantastic point from the source material. None of these habits are exotic. They're not expensive. They definitely don't require you to uproot your life and move to some remote village in the Mediterranean. They are highly accessible tools that are available to you right now, wherever you are and whatever your current baseline looks like. So I want to leave you with a final provocative question to think about. Which of these habits feels most urgent in your own life right now? Is it putting the phone in a drawer and actually looking at your family during dinner? Is it getting outside for a non-negotiable walk just to reset your stress? Whatever it is, I really encourage you to take your first beautifully imperfect step today. You don't need a miracle, you just need a baseline correction. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.